We are about to start just checking if everything is okay in the stream. If oh, okay, we need to share one thing. One thing. Ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-da-dum, ba-da-dum. Okay, almost there, almost there. Well, I should start the transmission. Change the. Okay. Thing is, here I am. Okay. I don't know if it's visible. I need to check that. Yep, it's working, but I need to verify a few things. I think the only thing it's missing is me sharing the um, sharing the link on Facebook. Uh, okay, well, I did. Well, I was trying a new tool last session, last streaming session, and seems that I have a bit of a trouble with it. Why is it not showing in the stream? Having a problem with the stream again? Okay, it's visible. Okay, well, it was mentioned my last stream session. I was testing with a new service, not the one that I regularly use, and it didn't stream to YouTube and to Periscope. So those recordings are kind of lost, and the only one that survived is the one on Twitch. So I went back to my other streaming service, and I want to continue with what I was doing the last time. So talking a bit again about what I was doing is this is a or this image over here and that one over there. They're from the same painting. It's a Costa Rican painting called El Portón Rojo. Literally translates to the red gate, and I want to try to recreate that in with virtual painting, and later to be used maybe on Unity and visit the painting if you want to. So I already started painting a big chunk of it. Um, I started with the door, and I'm using um, a 3D mesh as a reference. As you can see over here, that mesh was created with Oculus Medium, and mm, mainly because while I'm working on virtual painting, it's kind of a hard sometimes get the depth of what you are doing, and um, sometimes you can end up painting too far or too close, and you don't even notice. So I'm using this mesh as reference to guide me through that. Um, I have this tile over here in case I need it later, because there are a lot of tiles far in the distance over this site, and I may need to recreate or copy more tiles. And the last time I was commenting about this stroke over this column, because I was thinking that maybe it was or a artistic decision of the painter, or maybe it was um, a degradation of the column. It was breaking apart, so their interior was showing. Their interior is made of um, uh, adobe, so it's kind of earth-like. But looking on other places like over here, that that stroke exists, or over here, it means that it's more like artistic decision of the painter. And um, that my assumption it was wrong. So I have this stroke over here. I want to continue. So as the idea, me talking about whatever I can find on the painting, or I don't know, history related to my country, related to the painting. Um, so okay, I'm also using the there is an option here to show the like a mesh. I mean, like all these strokes virtual painting are underneath are a mesh, or a kind of a 3D path. Um, the the um, the bolder strokes are in fact a mesh, just with a flat shading. But and that's why I need the 3D mesh to paint. But you can enable here an option to see uh, the mesh, and when you get closer with the Oculus controller here in VR, it shows up. If you remove your hand, the mesh goes away. So it's quite useful. If you deactivate it, it only shows the regular um, mesh, and it's quite useful. So okay, what should I continue doing over here? There is this brick wall here. It has a lot of colors. So what? What? Okay. So I pick a color. Try to. Sometimes the color doesn't seem to match. This image is like um, taken from a newspaper. You can see the dithering pattern. So probably when I grab a color, I'm grabbing uh, a YMCK color and not the pretended color, the third. But I'm trying. I'm trying. Actually, don't use. I do not use still painting that much. I found that sometimes we um, people who are experimenting with VR are painting or sculpting. Uh, we end up choosing one or the other. Um, some authors switch between tools. Um, I am most on the virtual sculpting side. I find it easier sometimes. I think I'm going to hide the mesh this time. I find it easier because this, um, well, regarding Quill, for example, I find it weird to spend that much time um, into something that generates like a lot of file size, and that is so weird to me. compared to compare that with Oculus Medium Mesh. Yes, they are quite big. Sometimes you create a sculpture and it reaches like I don't know, 1 gigabyte, or um, sometimes I think the lowest with the highest export settings is like 100 megabytes, and you name it, it goes up and up, and the size is always big. But the thing is, with regular sculpting is that, or in any other tool, not just virtual sculpting, is that once you have created your um, big or high detailed model, um, you can process or send that file into a pipeline that reduce its file size. So it's quite convenient to use a um, a format like regular mesh, meaning sculpting, and not using virtual painting. Um, these files, virtual painting, are huge, and it's their file size. You cannot reduce, as far as I know, um, their size. So this huge file size is their file size, and that bugs me a little. That you can't like mm, reduce that file, and you are forced with that file. Um, you can decimate it, as far as I know. Um, so what can you do? So that little by little drove me into more sculpting, um, the virtual sculpting. Trying to find a different color. This one seems like too bright, so I want to blend it this one a bit. So yeah, when you're working with a Oculus Medium, you can reduce that file. You can decimate it. You can decimate it a lot, and also you can do a retopology process and reduce um, reduce the detail on that file. But then you can kind of restore quote quoted kind of restoring that detail using normal maps or other type of textures. There are new and very cool advanced textures that you can use and restore a lot of detail into your sculpture. And you can export that and use it into games or even use it on web. So that annoys me a little with this virtual painting because the more complex your painting is, and it will be, the more time you spend on it, it's harder to to share it. I've heard people that have this huge file and they can't show it to anyone using VR because um, it's bound to their machine. The file is huge, gigabytes. So let's say that I finish this piece and it's a gigabyte, which is a possibility. I think that my remaining option will be to share it like a Unity file, and that's what I'm actually trying to do. But you can share it on Sketchfab. I tried to share one I made a few days ago, like spaceship. I'm going to show that to you. I'm going to save this, load the new file. Ship clouds. It's it's an animation. I share it into Oculus Spaces, Facebook Spaces. It's not Oculus Spaces, but I was not able to share it into Sketchfab, and that annoys me. And I wanted to share this. I like the way it looks. It looks like a cartoon, but in 3D. And I was able to load the whole model into Unity. That's a bit of hope, but who wants to download a huge file? I am I like web VR. The fact that you can put on your headset and enter into a website and watch a 3D VR version of that website and load simple models with high detail with those high quality maps I just mentioned earlier. But you can't if the model is super heavy. Um, Vectors are cool, but I mean these are vectors. You can expand them ad infinitum, and you will never lose detail. Look at that. It's amazing. I just expanded huge because inside their vectors there is a path that draws everything, and also it can be super tiny. But this file, I think it weighs like 100 megabytes. So that's why I was not able to upload it into Sketchfab. And that's a little bit sad. Heavy project is stocking. Okay, not stuck anymore. So this probably will take me a while to paint this. Trying to find the right colors, or blending, changing with another color. It seems pretty much the same like this one. This is not. Uh, and right now I am only using brush strokes. I was thinking that in the end I could use the painting tool and trying to blend more of the colors. But it's hard to get a new color. So yeah, that's my main problem with the virtual painting. But I actually want to create a piece that looks like a painting. I think it's quite interesting. I think Stella Tse, I think is this girl who paints amazing uh, in with tilt brush to make huge pieces. I don't know. I don't know how much they weigh. I think I saw one in the Poly. I think it's the Google site for for their models, and it was huge. And it takes a lot of time to load, and that's one of my main concerns with VR. If you want actually to have fast VR, you can't, you shouldn't be using huge files on the web. So there is another option, uh, like I mean, for to share this. I don't know if it can be done here, but let me check. I don't know. I don't know if it can be shared here like 360 video. I know I've seen it. I know I've done it before. But I think it was an image. Yes. That's the next best thing to create a 360-degree image. Um, at least to have the whole 360 experience, but you can't walk. You could create a series of 360-degree maps. Rectangular maps are the real name. Um, and I don't know, load it into a fancy program and create the experience. That's a possibility. So I actually never done this idea. This is more like a proof of concept. Try if I'm trying to do works. um, but that's the thing with art. You should not worry about if it works or not. I mean, um, so many people are worried sometimes to take a pencil and draw on paper, and that shouldn't happen. People is afraid sometimes to express art because they think art should look like probably um, like Leonardo da Vinci or I don't know Michelangelo or I mean art should not look realistic. It's an interpretation of what you think something looks. If you want something realistic, grab a camera. Don't worry about it. You can do it by yourself in your room. Nobody's watching you. So why should be afraid? I think I had the best teacher in art uh, regarding about not being afraid to show what you do, and I think it's a consequence about the way that person who teaches you art treats you when you are young. That teacher for me was my mother, which my mother actually doesn't have any um, art um, training, but she told me once that she did with me what she wanted that people did with her, with which was um, to encourage me. She wanted that when she was a child, and she never had that. So the thing is, I recall I was probably 5 years old, and she always encourages me with my art, and my art was probably shit, and I know it was shit because I asked her, "Really? Is this nice?" And she said, "Yeah." She said that she loved them, and that's one of the best things someone can do for you. Just encourage you while you're learning. Um, not trying to destroy your dreams. I mean, what else? What else do you need? And I think I was never afraid. There was sometimes people that commenting weird stuff, but I never thought like, oh man, I'm going to quit art. No, I I I actually most of the time I did it alone in my room painting. So it was until I finished that someone had the chance to comment on it. But usually, no one had that chance until I gave it to them. And I recall this friend. She's a, I think she's a great artist. But the thing is, I've never seen that much of her work. Um, and the only thing I saw was like a very secret portfolio that she only shows when um she is going to um request a job. The same colors and it's kind of different color. So I saw her work, her creativity and geometric lines, and um, that that was something that she doesn't show to anybody. And I don't know why she exactly showed it to me. Um, Um, the thing is, I asked her why she didn't like publish her stuff, let's say Facebook or ArtStation or Behance, and she told me like that she was afraid that people told her that what she do is ugly, or I don't know, and that is so weird to me because in a way that's the point of showing it, because even people being rude, um, they are very kind in their rude words to tell you what is wrong. And there's that thing, and the other is you prove yourself into how to handle people, other people opinions. So in my case, I usually don't care. It has to be a very well crafted insult to get me, but I usually don't care. And I think that's what everyone should do, not care if you're making art. I mean, if you think it's for you, why should you care? And if it's for everyone, you should listen what they what they want to tell you, because you are doing it for them. You probably want to sell your art to them. So you should listen. Um, Sometimes, well, if you have a well crafted art, you will only hear compliments. Sometimes you will only hear insults. Sometimes you focus on that small comment that someone says that bothers you, and you probably don't engage into a conversation with that person, but sometimes that comment bothers you, and that's fine. It's part of the learning process. Man, I sometimes think I don't like this. Looks weird. Mostly this color. I want this color. I want to change this color. I'm gonna change this color. Let's try the brush. Let's see. It's too bright. Doesn't look better. It looks like a mishmash. Weird mishmash. I don't know. Looks a bit weird. There's some like red tones in there. I don't like that much. Pinkish. We can flatten them out a bit. I kind of like it, and I also don't like it that much, because whatever it is, there should be like some kind of uniform color in the whole structure. Trying to banish. Just to leave a hint of that weird color. So weird. Maybe it's because of the whole um this brownish, this dark brown. I should pick like a middle color. Trying to paint everything. It's like I don't know if this one. It should be just like a hint. The thing is quite hard to just paint the hint. It's super tough. You need to press the trigger like just a tiny bit. There's also like some white color on top. So I want that too. It's like a hint. I don't know, it's like the top of the fence. Hmm. This is all subject to interpretation. Don't worry about it. I'm actually trying to be not too hard with myself with this because I've tried to make a if I try to make an identical replica, I'm going to fail. So there is this like this point over here. I know there is like a little bridge, not like a step. Could do that. Then just you know, kind of not exactly, but something. There is like oh this is not come on, it's not the color you want. Okay. So the only thing I'm trying to fit is the perspective, assuming that I'm hitting the spot right. Oh, I forgot. I have already that defined. But I hit the point. Lucky me. So yeah, I don't know if the word in English is gardener. No, gardener is the one guy who takes cares of the art. But there is a place where you put your plants, and I totally forgot that name. Sometimes we'll build with cement, just like a square. Oh well, about those things. About I was trying last time with my streaming service is I wanted to add a chat box. I actually added, but I don't know if anyone is connected, so I'm a poor child. Yep, there is no one. So, well, not fun. In case someone comments, like, that's why there is that bar on right bottom. It's supposedly connected to all services. So if someone commands from Twitch or Periscope or YouTube, I will see it. And, and another reason why I don't like that much the virtual painting is because since I am a software engineer, I kind of understand how this works behind the scenes. And I know that this is not actually painting, that these are strokes, that these are meshes. So let's step down here a little. If I do this, I know that behind this there is a path, like I don't know, Adobe Illustrator, a path, that kind of a path, that there is a set of points that define that curve, that is also a mesh here. So if this were real painting, I know if I do this and then I paint again inside, I know that that is only one piece of painting. But since this is um, digital in computer, that stroke that is inside is still in there. That bugs me a bit because I know that every time, every stroke you place, there is increasing the file size. I think that is a good reason to be bugged about. I mean, all these strokes probably have a definition. I mean, um, inside there's probably the same path in all of these strokes. Um, Probably the definition that changes the width. So if I get closer, the width is smaller, but it's the same. It's the same path inside um, these strokes. So also there is the thing about the detail. If I get closer and closer, I know that I could do this way and fill this hole like this, but that is huge stroke. So I could just step back, use a um, um, boulder stroke, and just do one, and that way I've just reduced the file size. And just because I know kind of how it works behind the scenes, but you sometimes don't want it to create a too bold stroke because you know that it will interrupt the the way it looks. So okay, let's try with those green thingies, or I don't know, this that steak or something. Hmm. I had to do last time, like if it were a boulder, but it's not a boulder. Just like this, and there is this one. looks more like steak. And it's squared. So if you want a finer edge, you have to zoom in. This time I'm forced to zoom in for this, because if I use a stroke um, uh, to bolt, because it's round. Let's try it a bit. If I do this, it will probably go out a bit, and I don't like that. I mean, I could do that, and it will probably be easier sometimes, but in perspective, and probably because later I'm gonna have to add a few strokes more. This time I'm forced to do this, and of course that means higher file size. Well, I don't know if you guys noticed, but when I reloaded the file, it took a while to load compared with the animation of that ship. That ship, by the way, was created in medium and also, and I use it as reference here in Quill with um, to create that animation. I think I commented that this last time, but there's another reason why I'm um, using this painting. Um, I think that everyone here, um, and here meaning VR, everyone that is working a bit in VR, like we are all trying to do the same. Monsters, spaceships. Um, there are a few I think that go up outside the of this stereotype. Myself, I've been trying to make the same, doing weird monsters too, or bugs or ships. There's this guy called Henry Schutz. He always do weird stuff, and I think that's more of the thing that we should be doing, meaning that we should make it personal. Why do I want to see another ship? Why do I want to see another astronaut? I actually did, actually made an astronaut. So why do I want to see more of that? So this painting from my country, it's in a way to go back to the art roots country to to get away from what everyone is doing in VR. and try to make it a little bit personal. I know I will learn something from this. What is that? Probably this steak. It's kind of alive. That's why it has this weird shape in here. There is thing here in my country or call it alive or live fences, living fences. I don't know how to translate it properly, but it means that um, you take stakes from trees and you use them as a fence, but the stake is not dead. Sometimes in other countries you curate um, the steak, you let it dry, you and of course we do that too here, but um, you could um, create a fence with a live steak. So what happens? It happens that it grows, it grows, and you have a live fence. So a, a, a live fence is never going to decay. Um, you never have to replace it. That's a good thing. The downside is they grow and they become trees. I know here that there are fences that are 100 years old or more. We used to have them here um, in my house, like probably 25 years ago. I was very young, but you just plant trees or 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 plant stakes from live trees and then you just cut a bunch of barbed wire and place your fence, and that's all. It's it's nice. It's quite rustic. It's like living in the country, in the countryside. There's a thing sometimes that I've put a thought on you know recording yourself or taking pictures on the internet and all this. This I'm doing right now. Uh, Probably someone in the future, someone related to me, will be looking information about me, about the old Grandpa Sebastian who did art stuff in the past. You don't know who is looking. I recently put my hands on um, old pictures from my grandmother, and she's fancy dressed and everything. But I bet she didn't knew that um, his grandson will be looking at those pictures in the future. You just take them and thought that they will be there, and you have no idea I mean this for real. That picture you take from yourself, from someone, you don't know who's looking at it in the future. I don't know if someone is looking at this in the future. That's weird. Probably this video will not last, will be forever lost in the depths of the internet, or maybe I will have a copy in my hard drive and those files will be to um, will be passed to the next generation. You don't know who is looking right now. That is also kind of creepy. My brother used to say that the only real way to for time travel is to look at films, at movies, and in a way I extend that into pictures and regular home videos. That is the only way. Man, I'm taking my time with these stakes. Also because I'm babbling a lot. I don't know what is this thing. It's so weird. It's a weird shape. Let me see what time it is. It's 11 and 16 p.m. here. And just like to make those that tree over there. And I guess I will go because I know this is a this will take time. How am I kidding? This will take ages to finish, but I hope um it's worth it. I hope when I'm finished it's worth it. They sculpted these trees. I don't know. I think I was tripping because it's not the same shape. I think it's like that. Okay, so I think I'm gonna leave this here. yeah, takes it will take a long time. So um, I'm going to leave this here. I hope um, you guys like it. If you have any comments, please let me know because this is going to take a while.